What's up, bro? It's your boy, Mike Muse. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest. I have been a fan of hers for so long. I am a fan of her entire family. As you know, we about to have a little bit of church. I grew up in the church, as you guys all know. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, youth department meeting. Wednesday, Bible study. Saturday, choir rehearsal. And Sunday, you're serving. And my next guest doesn't even know I'm from the state of Michigan, not from Detroit, but from Lansing, Michigan. And so gospel music and church was a part of our everyday lives. And so this is why I feel like I know her. I don't, but I feel like I do. And I just love her, and I love her voice. She is such a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, the dynamic, the incredible Kierra Sheard. What's happening?
Hey, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. That was an amazing welcome already. I feel like I'm at home because you got all of the, Monday is this, Wednesday is that. So,
Yeah.
Hey.
Which is why I'm excited, because you are here to promote this book, Kiki Find Your Voice.
Yes.
And for me, I think it's a story about so many of my journey as a youth.
Yes.
I think so many friends of mine's journey as a youth.
Yeah.
Audience, for those who don't know, this story is really about this young girl who's finding her way in her journey with reconciling church, God, love, friends, popularity, all the things that we had to moderate. Sorry, I'm just going straight into it.
No, I love it.
Yeah, because I'm just so warmed up for you.
Yes.
But how was your journey growing up, coming from the family that you did? I feel like people like you were always being watched, like when you were in school.
That's a great observation. I could say it's 50-50 because the book is actually talking about how I wanted to be popular. I was a chunky girl then, so I wanted to fit in. And the song that I had chosen with the other young girls that I had auditioned for the talent show for in the book, it was it was an R&B song. And my mother surprised me at the audition and said, this is not appropriate for you, for your age range. And she changed my song, and she said, hey, we're going to change this song. You're going to have to change, you choose the song. And I was like, well, the girls, they're not going to sing with me, And she said, well, that's fine. Your differences have a lot to do with, your destiny and your beauty. So they dropped off, and I sang by myself. But to answer your question in short, was I always watched? It was kind of 50-50 because you could tell, then the girls like, no, I'm singing my song. I want to sing it. It didn't care. They didn't care where I came from.
Yeah.
So it was 50-50. And then, of course, being a PK, it's a lot of pressure that comes with that. If I'm being watched, then is it for the good, or is it to say, we're going to see what you're going to do because you a pastor's kid? Right. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I like the pressure. We often say, what are diamonds without pressures and cuts? And I guess I'm just growing and evolving, and I know I am. I won't say I guess I am.
How did you reconcile secular music with gospel music?
So
growing up as a kid.
So I think it's exactly what my mom was instilling in me, and it's being conscious of what you're listening to at what age range. We see so many parents on social media and seeing what's allowed with today's youth. And if only our villages were as particular with what they let into their child's spirit, I think it has a lot to do with our futures. And so I think that I found the balance because mom had me being conscious, dad had me being conscious and selective, because I could be singing a song that has a lot to do with a future struggle. And I could be, if you think about some of the songs and the jingles that we know that of our favorite TV shows, our favorite commercials, we don't sit there and study those jingles. It just rests on our subconscious, and it becomes a part of who we are. And so if our ear gates are going inside of us, then what am I allowing inside of me? So to answer your question, the way I have balanced R&B is now I'm far more selective with what I allow into my space and what I allow around me, because we as believers, we believe that there is a such thing as you having the fruit of your lips, you eating the fruit of your lips. And we understand too, even people who don't believe the same that I believe, they think that we believe that a principle of the tongue is powerful. Watch what you speak. And so if that is a such thing, I got to be careful of what they're speaking to me. He's telling me to wrap it up. I'm sorry, my answer's too long.
No, you're totally fine.
Okay, I'm
No, because I
sorry.
love where you're going.
Okay.
It's the power of the tongue.
Yes.
There's life and death in the tongue.
Yes.
And no, your answer not too long at all. I
Okay.
think what your answer are doing is giving context, because I think
Yes.
that in today's society, how we view religion, and I
Yeah.
think there's a difference between religion and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
We operate in this binary space, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
allow room for grace and
Yeah.
for the gray area. And
Yeah.
I think that's where so much change can operate in. I think
Yeah.
that is also too where you can find God is in the gray. Everything
Absolutely.
isn't as clearly and direct as it is. And
Yeah.
I love what you said about what we're surrounded by and what we allow into our energy space. For
Yeah.
me, growing up, I had that balance. I wasn't a preacher's kid,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
although I was in the church very,
Yeah.
very heavy, and very often. I was allowed to have the balance in my home, and
Yeah.
so I was allowed to listen to secular. I was allowed to
Mm-hmm.
listen to rap and R&B.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what's missing in today, and you mentioned our parents are on social media right now,
Mm-hmm.
or are raising their kids, and they're themselves as parents are on social media.
Yeah.
I think more morals. I'm not here to judge.
Yeah.
But growing up, I knew if I heard a certain word, I knew
Yes.
that was just for music. I
Yeah.
wasn't to use that in the house,
Yes.
nor was I supposed to use that outside the home, right? That was
Yes.
just for the moment. And I think
Yeah.
we're missing that balance right now.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that how
Yeah,
you say
that's
that
it.
phrase? I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
you did it for me, and you actually gave me something to walk away with. But I think too, it is the other part is like you said, is it age appropriate?
Mhm.
You know, I could be singing about something that I've not even tasted just yet, but because I'm professing it just by having studied it unintentionally, it
Mhm.
becomes a part of who I am.
Mhm.
And so I think that you, and then like you said, the gray area, I think there are some conversations that we can have to, like you said, cover the ground of grace, because a lot of people think that, like you said, the difference between religion and spirituality, which I'd like to associate with relationship. Religion may be super direct, whereas relationship can be, let me get to know what God wants rather than just know what people are saying his rules. And when you get to know him from a love dynamic, then you kind of fall in love and they're like, okay, your rules work for me. You know, though they should work either way, but they actually work for me and they benefit me. So I love how you said, I don't want to be redundant.
You're not being redundant. So for me, welcome to the Mike Muse Show,
Thank
and really the Mike
you.
Muse experience.
Thank
And so what
you.
I love is just a conversation. And so I have no written questions. I have no
Perfect.
idea what I'm about to ask you. It's
Okay.
just a matter of just going based on energy. So
Okay.
never think that, things has to be so
Yeah.
specific or binary.
Okay.
Because what you just did for me is you made me think about my own walk. And
Mhm.
so I love how they use the word relationship, and I was thinking about love and agape love, right? And like how that's just the biggest commandment of them all.
Yes.
But as I've gotten older, I've actually say I'm more spiritual than I am religious. But I do believe how you just outlined it, though, because I have a relationship with God, I can
Yes.
respect what the boundaries of the
Yeah.
word is.
Yes.
But sometimes we've always looked at it from the other way around, like the dogma aspect of it. And I think
Yes.
when people focus on the dogma aspect of it, it takes them out of relationship, right?
Absolutely.
It takes them out of
Absolutely.
that personal connection.
Absolutely. And I think too, you know how we have relationships with our parents, or I would say a relationship, well, not just dating.
Mhm.
Um, I love you and I learn you. My father always teaches me the root word of dating is data. So you're getting information about that person. And I think that, like you said, once I get into the word or I learn him from a relational standpoint, I begin to date him and get the information I need. So now it doesn't feel like rules, then it feels like you love me and you just want the best for me. And I think that even when we think about our parents, that's where I was going with that. It's not that our parents are like, don't do this, get out of the street. It's no, I don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah.
I want the best for you. And so I totally agree with you with the relational piece. And when you get in relationship, it's just like, oh, okay, you told me not to do that. And then he'll talk to you and forewarn you. Like he'll actually speak to you. And sometimes he'll talk to us through interviews,
Yeah.
through, friendships, through podcasts. Well, this is,
Yeah.
I mean, all, you know what I'm saying? And I think that if we limit God, like you said, from the dogma dynamic or just rules, or like he's just a Mufasa sitting up in the sky, it's no, I love you and I just want you to do well. I want you to be well equipped. I want you to know that you even already have the equipment that you probably don't think you have. But if you allow me to tell you what your purpose is in the earth, I can lead and guide you so that you don't make so many mistakes. And even the mistake can turn into good for you.
I love that. What do you, as you were talking, I'm like, I wonder what does she want her book to moderate? in this society. Because
Mm-hmm.
although this is a kid's book, it's geared towards youth.
Yes.
This picture, I'm going to hold it up again, is out now. It's animated and it's a picture book.
Yeah.
I also do feel like it's for adults too as well. Because kids are not the only ones trying to find their way in place and space in religion and spirituality.
Yeah.
But adults who are new to Christ or
Mm-hmm.
new to this belief system, I
Yes.
think sometimes, it's just me, this is not Kierra speaking, this is Mike Muse saying it, I think they tend to overmodulate.
Mm.
And I think they go so far of getting away from the secular
Mm-hmm.
that they don't know how to modulate and
Yeah.
reconcile the two.
Yeah.
Can this book help individuals like that as well?
Absolutely. And I like to say this book, I think it is a story because I read the book and I got teary-eyed because I'm in a space coming out of my maternity leave. I'm now a new mom.
Congratulations.
Thank
She's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so
And your
much.
wedding was off the chain.
Thank you. I
Wow.
wanted it to be. Listen, I love the Lord, but I know
Yeah.
how to put on a party.
So for I know it was a 1-year anniversary wedding, but maybe on the 10-year anniversary, invite a brother.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes. Yes.
Because you turn up.
Yes.
You turn up. You know what I mean? You got a lady.
Yes.
We talk, yeah.
And like you were saying, it was a balance. It was
Yep.
safe. We had a clean space. No one was hurt. It wasn't distasteful, as it pertains to my faith.
Yep.
But to the book, you were making a point about how adults and children can read this book. And I like to say often that the village is not just for the child, the village is for the adult too. And in this book, you see the village. And then you have friends too who will hold you accountable. You got some friends that are like, oh, I am here for you. But it's like, are you really here for me? Or are you here to get what you can? And so this book is showing when you have true vessels around you that God can use and help steer you in the right direction and say, hey, there's still something in life for you. There's still something great for you. And then when we feel like we're so different that there's a disconnect, you have those people around you who are not intimidated by your skills or your gifts or what's inside of you. And they say, hey, those are different. They make you different than what culture says is beautiful, but that's beauty in God's eyes. And I think if we redefine what success is, we would extend ourselves grace, because sometimes we can over criticize ourselves. We are always, I was just in the car retouching my photo, and it's like, you know what? If the juice spills over, then maybe we can let it spill over a little bit. Let's just open that up a little bit,
Yeah.
So I think the book is both for children. I think it's a familial conversation that parents can now have with their children. Like, I sometimes feel a little like the outsider, if you know what I mean. So we go from a child having these experiences to, we don't escape them too much when we become adults. We just know how to manage them differently. So yes.
How did you become so approachable in your walk?
Because
you make spirituality so conversational,
Thank you.
so approachable.
Thank you.
I feel like if I was to have met you like in a cafe or at a bar of a restaurant, I think, you and your husband obviously not as a pickup, but like just
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like she's just a chill person.
Thank you.
And I think sometimes religious folk kind of lead with that,
Yeah.
and sometimes can be off-putting
Mm.
for me personally.
No, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think you don't lead with it, but it comes through so strong
Thank you.
naturally.
You gonna make me cry.
How do you do that?
I think I do it because I've seen it to be unapproachable. I've seen it to be ugly, but I've seen other people be like revived and free in it. And it's like, I want to tap into that freedom. And I think me seeking God to tap into the freedom and learning forgiveness, but not abusing it. Because you know how the same way, if we're creating in His image, right? If we're friends and I keep saying sorry, you're going to say, okay, behavior has to follow. And I think it's the same way with my relationship with God. So I've embraced this divine relationship, but I've allowed it to penetrate my heart and evolve me inside out than just going by the rules to follow. And then once I understood the scriptural references of why there are rules to follow, then I was like, I got it. And then once I started saying that it was helping me to save time, I'm like, okay, so you put these things in place because you don't want me to waste time, where it says, I want you to redeem time. So you're giving me the power and this authoritative space to walk in to where I can buy time back that I've lost, if it's not time that I've lost, even time that mama or daddy lost. And so now I'm creating or introducing this revival or awakening part of myself to my bloodline that now I can introduce to my legacy. And it's not just money that I leave behind, but it's revival that I leave behind.
That agency is hard to find.
Yes. I think, too, the teachings behind it, like, who are we sitting under?
That's not easy to do. As you're talking, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not easy to do. I mean, that's because all that what you just said was that you own your agency and you found your agency.
Yeah, thank you.
That is hard for people to find.
Yeah.
On their journey.
I think, to me, a lot of people, the trend that's going around, oh, I'm Kierra Sheard. Of course you think so and so and so.
Yeah.
I think some people may think, well, I'll say from my experience, I've learned people think that I enjoy yes people around me when actually I don't. I like to gravitate, and my friend here, Mel, my brother, I gravitated towards him because he knew how to tell me the truth.
Wow.
So if the truth will set you free, and if you're saying that you want people to be around you who will hold you accountable, who will cheer you on, but still say, Key, your breath stank, and you need to do something before you go talk to Mike Muse.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't just let me gloat and be in it because it's offering you an opportunity, but still be my friend. So I think finding the agency has to do with being open to truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're open to truth and you found your agency, I don't think there is no performative nature about it. I think a lot of us are performative Christians.
I love that. And I think when we operate in that space, we embrace who we are. We embrace our mistakes. We don't use them as an excuse, but we are like, I'm willing to grow, and that's what causes me to chill and rest in what God is doing in me. So a lot of people say, oh, you're super chill, or, like you said, it's approachable. I think it's the God that you see in me, which is me simply trusting him. Like, I know I'm not perfect, and none of what I have or none of who I've become is because of me. It's all because of what God is constantly doing in my life, even if it's me like, messing up or making decisions on my own. It's always him just constantly working. So I think that's what makes it approachable, because too, I'm not going to act like what I've obtained is unachievable or it's unreachable. No, you can do it too. Everybody can do it.
And audience, you may not be Christian. You may have your own faith walk that you have. I think there are lessons that you can be pulled out of this conversation just that we had so far, because we talked about agency. We talked about approachability.
Yes.
We talked about a guiding force and guiding principles. Even if you are agnostic, there are still guiding principles that you have about your life. Whether you're in nihilist, right? Nihilism, like there's still a formative understanding of your constitution, and even that you can push people away based upon that. And I love when people say they're not into politics. You saying that, you have actually made a political statement unto itself by saying you are apolitical, right? And so, audience, if you're not Christian or believer, there's still takeaways here that I found so fascinating, and enjoying this right now. I want to know about your gift of voice and like your instrument, and because that's a part of the approachability aspect of it too as well.
I think too, if I can add to what you're saying, the approachability has to do with being universal, but also sticking to your standards, right? The world needs healing. We're all going through certain experiences. And I think what is most liberating is the healing part of yourself. Like me sitting here talking to you, I'm getting answers. And so I have learned to embrace my purpose, embrace my gift, which too, that's what the book talks about. My life revolves pretty much around my gift, if I can say it that way. So I'm choosing to try and heal the world with my gift.
Your gift has healed me in so many ways. A song,
Wow.
I know your album is out, All Yours right now, and I
Yes.
love it.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Miracles is amazing.
Thank
I
you.
love the public service announcement about people not listening to Don't Let Me.
Don't judge me.
Don't judge me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
without getting into a car
Yes.
accident. But the one that's on repeat for me is Something Has to Break.
Yeah.
What were you going through?
Right.
The time of you making that one.
What was you going through?
Because I was like, yo, this is helping me because I'm going through it. And something's got to
Yes.
break, homie.
That's exactly
Yo,
it.
God, what we doing?
Yeah.
Something's got to break, my G.
That
You know
is-
what I mean? Like, stop it. Stop playing in my
Yes.
face, God. Like,
Yes.
something's got to break.
Yeah.
Enough.
And that's exactly it. Like I will say, okay, something got to give.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired of this now.
This ain't it.
This ain't it.
This ain't
That's
it.
exactly where I was. Like you know how
See the approachability.
yeah. Sometimes you hitting the ceiling and you like, okay, now what you doing up there, God?
Yeah.
Now I'm over here praying and you said keep seeking you. Now where you at?
Yeah.
Because it seems like you're a little silent.
And it's personal.
Yes.
It's like, what have I done to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I be trying to serve you. I
What
know
did
I
I
don't go to church
do?
every Sunday. But you know my heart. You know? I've been rocking with you since day one, God. Like, what's good? Like, come on.
I love it. But
Yeah.
yes, that's the truth of it. And that actually is definitely where that song was derived from.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We were joking, but yeah, that's that. No wonder I felt that in my spirit. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what it is.
And even in that challenge, Mike, how we were talking about, you can talk through something and even get some answers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, something has to break. Like, though I'm saying something got to give because I'm tired, my answer is even in that something has to break. It has to give because it can't be like this. It's not going to rain for your entire life. It's not going to storm for your entire life. We see that seasons pass. And so even while I was tired and I'm just like, oh, okay, when is we going to get out of this? You know, it actually happened. And so that's where that place came from. And I wrote that song with Mia Fields. And I was like, I just want to encourage the listener to know that you won't stay in that rut. You can get out of it. And sometimes you gotta, what do I say? Something has to break. I believe you lead me to it. I believe you get me through it. I believe that you will do it right now. Something has to break. So now
I can't believe you did that. I kind of low-key wanted to ask you to do a little something for me. And look at God listening to me right now. Okay, God, we
Yes.
good. Okay, God, I forgive you, God. Right now. For all those times, God, you let me out there.
Yes.
Yo,
but
that's it.
You make that declaration,
beautiful.
right? And you say, I believe, like now I got to talk to myself. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite characters is Brown from the Medea.
Yeah.
Home Run. And he like, I had to encourage myself and say,
Yeah.
self. You know, that's word. And it's actually, again, what we were talking about, the power in the tongue.
It is.
So I got to say, I believe, I got to tell my mind I can get through this. So yeah, that's where that song came from. And I'm so happy that so many people I always hear about something has to break.
It's insane.
Yeah, thank
Like,
you.
it hits. And I
Thank
think that's
you.
why Miracles is so well too as well.
Thank you.
I think growing up we used to sing that song in the Voice of Deliverance. I'm not gonna sing because I don't have a gift. It was
Please
just for fun.
sing.
Absolutely not.
I hear you. He said absolutely
It was
not.
for fun. Yeah. It was just something doing a Saturday afternoon. My parents made me do. But do you remember that old school song, Miracle?
I'm looking for a miracle. Yeah.
I'm living the impossible.
Yes. I see the invisible. Yeah. And I feel the intangible. I'm looking for a miracle.
Hey.
Yeah. I expect the impossible. Yeah. I see the invisible. I feel Mike can sing. Y'all better not sleep on Mike.
You see me trying to harmonize?
Don't sleep on
Yeah,
Mike.
I was nervous. I was like, Mike, reach for it. Reach for it. Have faith. You'll land on that note.
So shout out to the Clark sisters. That's an
Yeah.
oldie but goodie.
That's your
But
family song?
That's my family
See,
song.
I didn't even know.
Shout out to Auntie
I told
Twinkie.
you I've been rocking with y'all.
Yes,
See?
you have. have.
Listen, I think that's the best way to end this on such an incredible note.
Yes.
Audience, please make sure you get this book everywhere. Kiki finds her voice is wherever books are sold. Get the album out that is right now all yours. And then always play back my jam. Something's got to break. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are welcome to come back here anytime. I hope you come back.
I would love
each
to.
and every time you have something to talk about. Even if you have nothing to talk about. You're welcome just to talk.
Yes.
Love you so much for your gift. Thank you for blessing me always.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Until next time, folks. Peace.